So I'm in my room now and I want to continue from where I left off. I was just rewatching the first video that I created about how it is that my face has been not only just spiritually hidden, but my face was actually also, there are filters. So whatever video that I post, whatever photo that I post, there are filters on top of my face. So it's very difficult to see what I actually look like. And the interesting thing, they've obviously been preparing this contingency for about 28 years. So 38 years. So why did I just stop? They've been preparing this contingency for 38 years. And so naturally, they made sure that whenever it is that I do speak, there are certain ways to discredit me. As I said, they created a specific filter that looks like me. So the only way that I was able to discover what I look like, I had a dream of my face. I had a dream of my face. So I had a dream where I was watching myself in the mirror. So it wasn't so much a dream, because that day where I was actually standing in front of the mirror actually went on to happen. So I was watching I was watching myself watch myself in the mirror. And I thought it was a dream, but that day went on to happen, because as I was putting on mascara, I'm like, wait, this is a dream that I had. And so I was like, this is what I look like. In the dream, I'm like, this is what I look like. And so I've obviously had like another dream to show me, this is to confirm what it is that I look like. But if you've never seen me face to face, you will not know what I look like. And they've made sure to intentionally surround me by people who know what I look like, but are commissioned, so they won't tell me what I look like. So it's been a very interesting plot, because my door. So I have these idiosyncrasies that I experience where I get distracted. Every time I speak, I get distracted, or there's certain things that just put me off. And this is obviously recovering from the effects of the ritual that they did. And I mean, they didn't do just one, they did multiple rituals over time. So this is what I wanted to tell you about shamanism and someone being a sangoma and people going for cleanses. So what has been happening is that people would do rituals. So they would do things, perform homosexuality and whatever it is, do things that push them to the utmost shameful feeling. And then they would go for a cleanse by the river. Now the river is me. When they go for a cleanse, they take whatever shame, whatever memory of shame that they've experienced, and then they dump it in my soul. And this acts as a button. So they have the remote control. They obviously know what it is that they did, but they removed the shame, the feelings of shame, and they dumped it in my soul. If you haven't watched my teachings about what the soul is, I can literally see like a mask on my face as I'm recording this. It's quite interesting. So if you've not watched it's literally a mask. It's on my face. So if you've not watched my videos, if you've not watched my videos about what the soul is, the Bible, God talks a lot about the soul. He repeats it over and over. He says you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. Your soul is the seat of your emotions, your feeling, your willpower. And I did, teachings about desire and the fact that desire is what causes us to move, to act. So what it is, they would plant certain desires within my heart, and I was essentially a puppet all my life. So they put their shame in me, and I move according to how they intend for me to move. And they've sacrificed countless animals. So the reason why I did a teaching about Ezekiel and how Ezekiel explains that under the firmament, Ezekiel was talking about the vision that he had, seeing a likeness of God and seeing a likeness of living creatures. Ezekiel explains to us that the living creatures that God created. So if you actually watch how the language, I break down the language that he uses. He talks about likeness. He uses the same language within Ezekiel, likeness, image, that he used when he talks about when he created human beings. And so Ezekiel then goes to continue essentially elaborating on the book of Genesis and confirming it and talking about the firmament that is over our head, the dome that is over our head, and how the seat of God is above the firmament, and talking about how the likeness of the creatures that God created is underneath the firmament. And he gives us these living creatures that are seraphim, they are angels, and they have different faces. They have like animal faces and they have a human face to show us that God's creation. So with us, have you ever heard when someone talks about my spirit animal is an eagle, or my spirit animal is a peacock, my spirit animal is an eel, my spirit animal is a jellyfish, my spirit animal is a shark? That is what shamanism is. Shamanism is you find out what your spirit animals are, and you sacrifice animals to give you the animal instinct of whatever your spirit animal is. Or if you want a certain spirit animal, you sacrifice that certain animal and it becomes your instinct. So shamanism is about moving through instincts. It's also called animism. So you move through instinct and of whatever animal that you have. So with me, they sacrificed animals that are my spirit animals against me. So what they did is they made me a Christmas tree. So this is why when we talk about a Christmas tree being paganism, paganism is shamanism. It's also about the same system of rituals. It has different names because the whole point is to confuse. The whole point is to divide. So if we take knowledge out of the Bible and we cut off access to the Bible and we make you think that people who are Christians have been causing wars, you won't want anything to do with Christianity. But the people that have been leading crusades are not Christians. They had their own agenda. And their agenda was, we are trying to find the Jews and we are trying to make them our Christmas tree. So a Christmas tree is you get a tree, and with that tree, there's like, English is just escaping me now. Right now, there's a fog over my head. Every time I try to speak, I get so forgetful. And then it's like I lose my train of thought. And obviously, the whole point of the ritual was to give me brain damage. Give her brain damage. Make sure that you hide her pregnancy from her. So it's either she dies or she gives us children. That's the whole point. So that's the insurance. So I was talking about how animism, how you move through. And so Christmas tree, you buy a Christmas tree and you dedicate that Christmas tree to someone. So they bought a tree and they dedicated the tree to me. And so you know how under a Christmas tree there are gifts. So this is how people steal destiny. They steal gifts because people have certain animal instincts that give them certain gifts. For example, an eagle is known for its watchful eye. An eagle has sharp eyes. An eagle, it represents strategy. It represents foresight. And eagles have an impeccable ability to transform and to withstand pain. When an eagle needs to change and shift, it is said that it flies up into the mountains and it literally beats itself against the rock until its new claws come out. And so certain people have those types of instincts, right? For example, if you're like me and you like the ocean, your spirit animal has to do with a lot of water animals. So dolphins, sharks, whatever the case may be. So with me, they sacrificed animals to take away those gifts from me and give them to themselves and to essentially make me afraid of myself. So for example, if you're like me and one of your spirit animals is a lion and someone sacrifices a lion against you, they take your confidence, they take your ability to roar, they take your mane and you have given them your gift. So when you go and consult a sangoma and you say, for example, people would say, I want this man to love me, I want to be sexy. That person has to go to someone who already has that gift, someone who has someone who's foxy, whose spirit animal is a fox, and they have to take that gift from them and give it to you and essentially leave them void. And when someone is like, I want the ability to see, to have dreams, you have to take it from someone who has a gift of premonition and give it to someone who does not. And so this is what has been happening to me. I've been a Christmas tree, where they bought trees and they have dedicated trees to me, buried stuff under the tree, did multiple rituals, spilled blood on the tree, hung stuff on the tree. So a Christmas tree has like these ornaments that hang on the tree. The tree, one of the trees, let me say, that they dedicated to me has like different ropes. Like when we speak about voodoo, your idea of what comes up when you hear voodoo, bottles being hung on trees and stuff being tied on trees, and there were jackets, bikers' jackets hanging on the trees, and there were socks hanging on the trees. It was so bad because before I knew what that tree was, I would find myself like smelling people's socks, or I would find myself feeling like I'm being choked. And if you watch my other videos, I would wear a scarf because it was like a subconscious reaction to want to stop myself from speaking, but also wanting to protect myself from, to protect my throat. Because what happens with these rituals is people would literally traumatize people and give that trauma to me. And so they've been doing this my whole life, where I'd be forgetful. I would wake up and I feel paralyzed. I feel drained. I have no blood, because there were literally entire towns of people that were built on my gifts. People, you want beauty, will take her beauty and give it to you. You want fame, will take her fame and give it to you. You want the ability to speak, will take her ability to speak and will give it to you, and will hide her so that no one will ever know what we did. And so ever so often years, this is what they've been doing. They've been hunting people that are descendants of Jacob and what they call Jews. And then there have been people who have been posing as the Israeli government, and they tell you that they are instigating wars because the Bible tells them that this is their promised land. This is what people have been doing to move you away from the truth that is God. What they do is they call themselves Christians. They do a whole bunch of bad stuff, and then they go about their way, and then you're like, yo, I don't want to be a Christian. Look at what Christians do. So things like the Crusades. The Crusades was a hunt. It was a witch hunt. Things like the Salem witch trials. They were literally burning people that they found out as being Israeli. I'll use that term, but obviously when I use Israeli, you are thinking of modern day Israel, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Israeli in terms of the Bible. People who genetically come from the tribes of Jacob, the 12 tribes. And I mean, it's not 13 tribes. God says 12. And just because God says the tribe of Joseph will be split into two, does not mean that when God said it's 12 tribes, it stops being 12 tribes. So I'm going to pause here again, and I'm going to continue, because this is about to be a long series, because I'm tired of being quiet. And I was like, whatever must happen now.